No, we had Christmas in July at the park.
Oh, so you have something?
Like, there's nothing going on here.
I mean, this says they'll do an assessment before,
Okay.
and then they'll.
We had Christmas at the park. We had Christmas in July at the park like 2 weeks ago.
I was
Right.
proposing.
They did something.
Or auction or something. You don't have anything here in town.
Well, I was proposing to take all the lights that were down there still and fill in the couple of lights that were out here on Dyke's dime to not make it look like there's on, off, 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 on, off, on.
We have nothing going on in town that I am aware of, correct? You're not aware of anything, Rachel? Are you aware of anything in town happening this next week or so? No events.
This weekend, no, but next week, and yes,
What's next weekend?
is the date with Kate. And they're sold out for that,
That's out
not the
the park.
park.
Oh, no,
No.
nothing going on in town.
Well, I was trying to get some immediate remediation to potentially correct what's going on right this second before. Yeah, but
The last email he sent said that they can probably do it this week or early, or next week.
hold your breath. We may be picking up off before. Sure, because left right more.
The last thing we got from the vice president.
Hopefully,
Or,
it'll be
no,
great.
that's from Greg.
It was.
Yeah, you can sign
I don't we know what we can do. Short of.
Yeah.
$10 deposit.
Turn over
Yeah.
legal.
Something like
Not refundable.
yes, I would like to go get that. So
So
I understand it and
lighting company or the
figure out.
Manufacturer.
No, I didn't take over until 2020.
I think
So
I had it for
anything
about
that I don't have
3 or
any.
4 days longer than anticipated. It's a breeding.
Yeah.
But then.
I've been sitting on this for
I was saying, I was up here meeting with them. Remember, we talked on the phone on Monday.
I knew that before.
Only.
Aren't we honest with you?
Yeah, but they don't.
The week after my vacation, yeah, I mean, it was 2 weeks ago, right? When they already had everything off the
We
phone
talked about it, but we
in their
would.
yard. That's absolutely. That was 10 days. Well, actually, got also
I forgot to increase the rent. Please sign this and send it back in.
So,
And here's your.
Well, that was my investment in them. They said, you won't receive for 4 to 5 weeks from receiving, I mean,
He actually has
a week and a half in shipping. 3 to 4 weeks went to 4 to 6 weeks.
well, I keep telling you, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. What's like your call?
You know, those even slots in the
Now,
wall.
that's something they want to do. We'll see.
You know,
I can put up people like and done like boots, but those guys was pretty awesome. I was having this issue.
Yeah, it says it can be.
yeah, let's,
Oh,
At the end of, at the, well, we'll see, but it's like by agreement.
I'll come back to him, you know, and it's,
Send it back,
or they turn it over to legal. I don't have possible.
I think I was going to reset. I've been on the road since a lot of them.
For sure, I don't think.
If you, danger is on that, if you don't sign what they're saying, and I'll read through all, forward that to me, and I'll read it, I just read part of it.
I know what it says,
I know it,
and I know legally,
but you don't have to listen to me, I won't tell you what I think,
no, I just know that they're
You're-
pushing
you're
it,
in a
and
situation-
we don't have a choice, is what they.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, we can talk about it a lot, but I think if you don't sign it, maybe you can get some concession out of them, but if you don't sign it, they're gonna do it anyway. And then you and Bobby aren't gonna be able to get reimbursed, but if you sign it, they're saying that they'll come out, do look at it beforehand and document, you can do it yourself too, and they'll, if it's was damage, they'll pay. They also say, I mean, you could pass your own ordinance and limit the weight, but you'd have to have Mike or somebody to enforce it, because that's local enforcement. Which is what Boonville's doing, but they have police force to do that.
We don't have anything.
They're very good enforcement, it's very well.
Okay, July 15th, that's this. Are you ready to go? Are you up to date? Can I start? Or do you want me to delay?
I don't have.
I can wait
George
a few
had
more
sent me
minutes.
copies of the minutes in here. I mean, I briefly read them on my phone. But
just
Doris isn't here.
Please table.
Oh, table.
Is she not coming?
He's in Vanderbilt, he's in Vanderbilt.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and call the town of Lynnville Town Council meeting for July 15th, 2025. Order at 6:07. We all stand for a pledge of allegiance. Is that on? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah.
Roll call, Brian Cook, Mike Mitchell, Michael May, Chris Wisher,
Here.
Lori Stokas,
Here.
Doris Horn, Rachel Titzer,
Here.
Dave Goldenberg here. With Doris not here, would you like to table the minutes again? So we're gonna table all the minutes one more time till all three members have a chance to read them and can vote. Approval of current bills, July 2nd through July 15th.
Make a motion to approve the current bills from July the 2nd to July 15th, 2025.
I will second that. In favor? Aye. Treasury report, general operating, $49,818.73. Motor vehicles, $149,701.77. Lit, $87,484.86. Public safety, $120,643.66. Public improvements, $89,259.28. Community center, $5,259.59. Fire department, $248,490 and a penny. Park, $144,470.97. Utilities operating, $5,159.97. Opioid settlement, $3,629.20. Before I scope on down, Kendall, are you planning on staying? Or okay, do you have, Chris, I'm asking you, we'll go out of turn here a little bit. This Kendall from the park, do you have questions on the lease that you need to ask her at any point? Not at this moment, so she can,
I'm gonna take those with me. I told Lori I'm gonna
Okay.
take those with me. Copy.
so she doesn't need to stay and she can go if she wants to. Okay? Just wanted to make sure. Yep, okay. Brian's not here, Mike's not here, Michael's not here. Residential business. Leaseholder's agreement for financing, that's, we gotta sign. And that's, we already okayed that. All we have to do is sign it.
Well, you okay, just on the record? You guys okayed it, I don't know if it was actual.
And we're okay with the transfer and her taking over the agreement.
Yeah, and the bank is doing that.
That's already done it. And this is the one, this is the Johnny Ray
Yes.
property, if I remember right. Any issues with that?
No, I don't.
You like to make a motion to
I make,
approve?
I make a motion to approve the lessors agreement for 12651 East, 1025 South, Oakland City, Indiana, 47660, lot 45, known as plot 103.
And I will second that. All in favor? Aye. Okay, that's official. You can sign off on it. We've had a request for community center usage by the Scouts on August 7th and August 21st. I have no problem with that. Do you have any problem with that?
Nope.
That does not need to be a motion. We just need to go ahead and book it. We will approve that and put that in
Is
there.
it no fee?
Scouts was no fee, wasn't it?
Yeah, usually they are. Scouts are no fee,
Scouts are no
correct?
fee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are no fee. They, in exchange for community service.
They do workforce.
Yeah.
Okay. Wi-Fi at the rec buildings, we're still, I guess, still on hold. You haven't got any
That
updates
need-
from him.
No,
Do we need to
but
take
we
that off?
probably need to, pass the information on to Wes as far as, the mainstream. What our billing is there and what we're paying for. That information needs to be sent on to Wes, so
So
we can further investigate that.
for the next agenda or next meeting, that can all be stricken now, 1A, B, and C, and not show up anymore. We're just gonna
That's
leave it
in
to
his
well.
hand.
Okay, that makes that simple. Trail lights. Anything you want to say on those?
Well, we need to approve something so we can move forward.
That's further down.
Trail lighting costs under new business. It's under new business.
In-
No.
Oh,
We haven't got the new business yet. That's the very first item.
okay,
So nothing to update on this at this point. We'll catch that in the new business.
Okay.
Employees insurance. I've been sitting on quotes. We've talked about it. We haven't moved anywhere forward with that. Is this now on a permanent table on hold until further, until it's brought back up again? Or do we want to try to get something? I think the quotes have probably run out, if I'm not mistaken, so that can go off the agenda, just put not acted upon. Need to be resubmitted. Town strategic plan.
Oh, do you get me set up? Go over the drafts. Saying that the last week or two, every time I talk to y'all, but we need to price it down, and I can either hand out our draft copy to the board and Brian, to review, then I can receive individual comments, or we can look to meet with a couple of people all to kind of go through what the plan is coming together as. It makes me no different.
I think for myself. I just need to have one talk meeting through, make sure that we're all on the same page.
I
Yeah.
agree. What I'll do, I'll
So-
send an electronic copy ahead of time in case you guys would like to look at it first.
Why don't you do that, Chris? Would you need to be involved in that?
No,
Yeah, I don't think
There's some
so.
legal actions in there, Chris, but I think they're pretty self-explanatory. So like
I
legal
don't think
action.
so at this time. We'll bring you in when we need it. That way we can get something going, and this is gonna have to be a special meeting since we're discussing that, so
Yeah.
we've gotta have 48-hour notice. So plan that into your schedule to get it to us. I think we're good on Thursdays normally to have a meeting.
With the exception of the Thursday.
Okay, so like a week from this Thursday, maybe, if that works. Just let me know, and then we'll get that done. Moving to new business, trail lighting costs results from Commonwealth.
Yes.
Yeah. Commonwealth is donating all costs. I got that on record, you know.
I sent that memorandum out. Is there any questions on exactly kind of what that includes? As I mentioned, so it can be, if it's preferred, rather than going into the phase 2 or the second point of what this feasibility study is, I mean, it could be just the first phase authorized within the second phase, just given authorization at a future date. We would like to just get the cost evaluated first, because maybe if we do the cost alternative analysis and it becomes so high that there's really no need to do a further justification on it. Does that kind of make sense? So if I'm looking at like 4 different alternatives, and we've got the most expensive to the cheapest, but the other 2 to 3 alternatives other than the cheapest are really kind of shooting for the moon, and it's not something the town's interested in. You're not utilizing any funds to pay for the justification, anything greater than what you guys already have kind of set aside to do the project. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's up to you guys. It's just something that I would, or I can just wait, get approval on it, and not move forward on that at this point here until you guys give me, notification to move forward.
So this cost we would be pulling out of the 100,000 that we've already got set aside.
Yeah.
Is that set aside in a separate account?
No,
Did we
it's in,
figure that
it's
out?
in the general fund.
That it should be in a separate account?
It's probably in a separate line item. The trail lighting's in a separate line item, but as far as bank account, it's in the general fund, correct?
There's a line item that says trail lighting.
It's like 100,000 or whatever
Mhm.
you've got in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't have a problem with moving forward with it. You're wanting to get the feasibility study done.
Yes, I mean,
Correct.
we're gonna need
And we're
that.
gonna have to have it before we do anything else.
Mhm.
Yes, we're spending down monies that we were hopefully to use somewhere, but that's just not the way it works in today's world. So would you want me to make a motion, or would you like to make a motion to move forward with either option 1 or 2, it looks like?
It's
Right.
either option 1 or 1 and 2. Again, you can do both, and then it can just be noted that I don't have authorization to commence on the second phase until you guys give me authorization to do it.
Mhm.
And I can write that, I can revise our task order to include that specific services. It needs to be authorized at a future date. It would just be an email from you guys saying, hey, you guys move forward, and then it'll just go back on that contract to give us authorization to go for that second phase.
Yeah.
I can do that.
I think that's probably the best route to go.
I agree.
Should that be 2 separate motions then?
It can be all tied into the one motion.
I think it's just one motion to approve.
We're gonna do 1 and then 2 upon acceptance, upon notification of the board or council.
The total amount, but then you guys would give me authorization to do the second.
Did you hear that well enough to make a motion?
I make a motion to move forward with the trail lighting feasibility study, starting with the cost development was $25,000 with Commonwealth Engineering. And then moving on upon board approval to the alternative analysis and justification phase of it for $12,000.
We'll change board to council, and then I would second that.
What did you say?
Change board to council
Yeah.
approval.
Yeah,
And then
sorry.
I will second that.
Okay. Sorry, some habits are hard to change, David.
Well,
Yeah,
I was thinking of voting no.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. You got your working order now. Discussion, okay. Live streaming, we have an issue with YouTube. So
Skipped one.
did I skip one?
Yeah, it's the other one.
Oh, yeah, I did. I'm sorry. Wastewater improvement projects.
This is the design, permitting, bidding, and additional services that we talked about. Based on our conversations, about 3-4 weeks ago, the intent is for the town to go after a bond anticipated no for a ban. So these would allow for the services to design and go through the permitting process and get bidding completed for a wastewater project that was submitted to SRF on April of 2025. The only thing that is an addition to what is not included in the PER is the smoke testing, under additional services. So we submitted the PER that had non-construction costs, and those non-construction costs were already established for the design, permitting, et cetera, right? The additional services that I have included in there is for smoke testing for the town's, review, and kind of talking with Brian and then talking amongst, the council itself. And smoke testing is something that you guys want to do and haven't had the resources to do it.
Aren't we mandated to do that?
Not mandated, but it's really good practice. And to be honest with you, it really helps. It would help this portion of the design projects to move forward. So kind of what I have thrown together here would be, two Commonwealth staff members that have performed smoke testing go around and have one of the utility members follow them around and learn how to use the process, learn how to use the piece of equipment, learn how the process works, know the documentation process, and that will allow for the town to if they ever decide to move forward with anything greater than what we've thrown together, they have the resources and the knowledge to do so. I have not heard from Steve, and he has not sent me the band allocation form.
Mhm.
But that's not, doesn't really affect this. I mean, I would probably hold off on this until we get to the band to the point where it's been moved forward. So if not, then I would hate to perform work that there's not funds currently in place to do, the council to utilize.
Project's 269, 350 in total.
Yes.
All these other subs are just what's making that up.
Yes.
Mhm.
We have to have this in place prior to going for our bonding, correct?
Yes.
So
it's part of the
this is
band.
another one of these things that we don't have a choice if we're going to move forward with the wastewater
Mhm.
improvements project.
And I have, yeah, that's right.
Is there any reason why we would not move forward with the wastewater improvement project?
I mean, at the only I don't know, I mean, at the end of the day, when you get their funding, satisfied that you have the, either the money to get it done without raising rates significantly, or the rates are too much, and but that, I mean,
It's still, it still would be, even if you guys elect not to move forward with getting the project bid, say, this fiscal year, that doesn't change any of this. All that does is put this on the shelf for maybe it's 3 months because
Get
you
it done,
close
get it
in
ready.
first quarter next year. Maybe it's a year. So I mean, this design process doesn't change anything to get it submitted to SRF or RD or if you guys go open market or any of that stuff, it doesn't matter. This project still doesn't change when it comes to the design process.
And if I'm hearing everyone correctly, we need to move forward with this.
you need to get the
So
design done, and then we can. because
I would entertain a motion.
Oh, I want to add one thing, David,
Oh.
so we are aware. I did put that environmental report in there. If you recall, there was discussions about going ahead and getting it into USDA RD for funding as well.
Mhm.
So that was added in there as well. So the PER is in accordance with USDA RD, so there's no modifications to the PER. However, an ER is needed to be done for USDA submission, which is not part of the SRF submission. So I have added the environmental report in this as well.
Okay. I would entertain a motion.
I make motion to move forward with Commonwealth Engineering's wastewater improvement project for $269,350.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Live streaming, which we are doing right now. We had an issue with YouTube, I guess, on sound maybe. Was there an issue or was there not an issue?
With no sound.
There was no sound on one of the.
It was the last one that we
Is it
were.
working now?
I.
Do we have any reason why we had no sound? Was it an error on our part? Was
I
it a
didn't know
YouTube
until
error?
she sent the email, so I have no idea.
So,
Yeah, I would.
do we know if we have sound right now?
No, is it just kind of window?
Town of Lynnville, Indiana. It is.
Hold it up. I understand these issues are happening throughout the state though, so just FYI.
I'm sure it's a learning curve for a lot of people.
So we'll try to verify at least. There we go.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so that's been taken care of, we hope.
Emails. I was gonna tell you that early. It's early.
Sitting right under.
Same thing happened last night as well.
Right under.
You're putting you're putting a glare on our screen. We're just kidding.
You found it when you searched.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of window is the end.
Okay. We got Christmas and July thank you letters that have been designed that we need to talk about or approve.
Mhm.
And you know, is that something you want to talk about here in this meeting? Is this something that can go back and forth between the park and whomever to make sure that it's all straight?
If she's
Is that
made the
okay?
corrections that I have requested, so.
So you're happy with that?
Yeah.
Then we can just go ahead and tell them that they're good to go and print those out. We don't need to have any motion for that. 2026 budget forms for Gateway.
You want to elaborate on that, Lori?
David told me to print them out. I don't know.
I just printed them out so we can see them. I saw this on a text or something. It's just something that we can look through if we got questions. I just want everyone to make sure that all council members had seen them. I have not actually printed one out to look. Budget forms are available. How are you planning on submitting these budgets?
Goes to Gateway.
And who sits down in the formation of the budgets?
Pardon?
Who will be sitting in the formation of these? How do you know what data to put in for 2026?
PGLF tells me.
How do they know? Someone's got to give some data to somebody saying what we're looking at doing and how we're doing it, correct?
We get a report. I mean, we get reports from the county sends reports to the DGLF. They in turn give me the reports for our town. I plug the numbers in.
What about the expense, like the expense budget?
Oh, I got another month or two on that one.
So this is just
This is,
revenues or?
yeah, this is just revenue. And I don't really
So
have any.
these revenues are all state funded and county
Yeah.
funded. So all we are doing is just entering data that they've approved. We have no access or opportunities to make any changes.
Right.
Okay.
And then when you get to your expense budget,
And then
that's where you want to look at your revenues.
the expense budget is when?
That's in August.
That's the one where you're thinking, sit down.
And how will we plan on who will sit down
I don't know
and
what you've done.
calculate that?
But
And make sure that we've got what we need in there and we're thinking ahead.
it's up to how you all want.
Okay, but we got till August.
I believe so, yeah. But yeah, you can come up, you could.
Okay. Like I said, I was just trying to make everyone aware.
When in August, Lori?
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
No, I mean,
Maybe the end, but
To the end, okay.
yeah, I think it's like the 28th maybe. But I'm not positive on that.
And when I see it, I'll make sure I send it to everybody again. Okay. Estimate for new gutters. We went out, requested 5 estimates for gutters down at the venue, the 1882 venue. 3 did not bid. The 4th one was from Leaf Filters. It was for like $5,400 or so. And I can provide copies if anybody wants it. And then we got this one here from Two Brothers for 2,700 something or other. I know it's in here somewhere, but
2734.
2734. Would we want to proceed on the brothers that just do gutters? Or do we want to put this on hold? Wait, this is to put all new gutters up, all new downspouts up, to put 6-inch gutters up instead of the 4-inch that are there. Uh, It seems to be a decent deal to me, but I don't know if we want to do it.
Just to let you know, when we were doing the estimates to do ourselves, it was gonna cost 2,500.
Okay. My only concern is that we did get a verbal estimate on the floor, which is about $1,000, okay? And we can't move forward with the allowing the public to use the building without doing the floors. I mean, the floors have to be redone. And so I just want, if we're gonna move forward with replacing gutters, which, and I'm not doubting that we need them, I want to make sure that we're gonna have the funds to redo the floor as well. I know we're trying to cut costs. I'm paying the sanctuary. So might take me 3 months, but it'll get done. I know, you're doing your part too, David. But I just, I want to make sure that we're gonna have $4,000 left for finishing the floors if we do the gutters. And I assume it's coming out of public infrastructure.
Yes.
Okay.
The cost will not get any cheaper.
Nope.
If we redo the floors and we don't do the gutters and we have an ice buildup and it leaks, then we'll be redoing the floors again. But is that just that one quote? Did you ever contact the other person that?
I have not yet. No.
'Cause I think
So I
they're
just
gonna, I think they're gonna be about half. Is what I'm thinking. We can table this for a little bit if you want. Until
We'll
we
just
get,
table it till the
until we get
next
that
meeting.
second one.
Okay.
I will contact them, we're looking at it. And see if they'll hold their price. I have to find out how long they guarantee the price, but I think we'll be okay. Okay. So we're gonna table that at this point.
To be able to make a decision.
I made a request to Mike Mitchell for either him or one of his deputies to be attending town council meetings, at least when requested. I've not heard back. I've asked everyone, I put a note out saying I haven't heard back from Mike. Is this the right address? And no one has responded to me saying it's not. Do we have is that Mike Mitchell going to a town box? Or do we know if it's going to him?
It's his email, his town email.
No vacation.
His email address?
Well, he wasn't when I sent him. Okay, well, I'll reach back out to him because I need to get him to respond.
I would recommend calling him.
And he's gone now for the end of this week, I think.
It's probably Marshall@townoflynnville.com. So
Yeah.
received emails from him.
Okay, I'll double check. I could have a glitch in mine. I've been having some glitches. Illegal street parking on Church and Third Street. That is a concern brought up by a council member wanting to know if we can take pictures of cars and submit those pictures to the town marshal to write up a ticket.
And he and I did talk about this. I called him.
Okay.
And he said that that is doable. The ticket goes to the car owner. The only thing would be is that he would want to draft a form letter that when it is that the car that is put on the automobile that basically states your car is legally parked and a ticket will be issued mail by mail to the owner of this car.
I have no problem with that. You have any problem with that?
No,
That's not anything we have to vote upon, just have them draft it up.
Current ordinances, current laws to be able to deal with that.
that
Right.
what?
He's good with, you don't need any changes to anything, ordinances or anything. He's good.
He didn't act like it would be done.
I'd say move forward with that. Let me know. I'd like to have copies of those tickets. I go by there all the time. Town salary allocations.
We didn't really make any decisions. Told Steve, talked to David, and then I told Steve, let's just move forward with the way we have it now. And then you guys can discuss it in budget talks or when you're doing the budget, if you're gonna change any allocations, but we can revisit it. When we do the project, if we need to do rates again, we can always revisit the allocations, but we want to get the rates going. So seemed like there was a lot of, the way it is now is not, is okay, and it's the way you have it budgeted. So he's gonna get me rate, I think we're gonna get a rate ordinance in time for, introduce at the next meeting. It sound okay?
Gonna have to be.
And if the allocations could make a difference down the road, we could readjust them.
On that, I believe I sent out a text, I'll find it, or an email to you, Lori, discussing those parameters on why 31% of your time is to utilities or to water, 31% to sewer, and 31% to the general, on how that's broken out. I'll find it here. Do you recall seeing that? Okay, because my question is, I guess, since we've hired a utility clerk, would think some of that time would have gone away from you having to spend on utilities. So I'm trying to figure out what is taking up your time. What are you doing, I guess, towards water and towards sewer that we need to be accounting for?
There's most of the reports, all the stuff for the, I keep looking at you because the audit, the water audit, all of those monthly reports have to be done every. I didn't really
Okay.
do that part. I mean, having the utility clerk didn't really take a whole lot of work for me because I always had a deputy that did that.
I guess okay. I guess I'm a little lost. Our utility clerk should be doing all the utility things, right?
She doesn't do the audits, the audit work, all the audit reports.
And what
I do all of
and
those.
what are those consisting of?
There's the water loss. There's the
The current amount of the salaries, how they are allocated. Now, Lori and I kind of went through with the percentages, broke them down into real numbers.
Okay. So am I asking a question that you've already figured out?
No, I'm
pay
giving,
with, or we,
I'm giving you, because you did say that 31% goes to water and 31% goes to wastewater, and so that is the amount of her salary coming
Yeah.
out of each one. And because my thing was, if we're gonna be reallocating the salaries to one of our funds that were, out taxes, we need to know exactly what that number is. That's the reason she and I sat down, and these are the actual current amounts coming out of everyone's salaries out of wastewater and water.
Hmm.
But if we're leaving them as they are right now,
temporarily, so
temporarily.
we're buying time.
that,
I don't know how much of a change we might need to anticipate, because some of that will affect our rates
Mhm.
for future, and I don't want to get beat up that we're charging a bunch of general time to utilities,
no,
because we
I
can't do
agree.
that either.
I
And I
agree.
think that's fair. I don't think you're probably, no, it's not. What you've got is probably not far from what it is. It's what you've been doing. So you should dig into it,
In-
but not hold up.
Yeah, we're not gonna hold up.
No,
I think you're probably okay. I think that, you're right. You don't want to move things from from utility to the civil town. This is a smaller base of customers, tax base, than the utility base, unless you're sure that you need to do that.
the one thing that I talked to Brian about too is that, a lot of his salaries and his employee salaries obviously are being charged to water and wastewater. But then again, he also gets called out to the park to, and his employees get sent out to the park to do work out there. And he is discussing keeping track of that time. That way it can be appropriately billed out to the park to, know that we're functioning um, a little more true to what it's costing.
Right.
But I think as part of your budget process for 2026, it's probably worth looking.
I've read it, so I might.
All the allegations and making sure
I'm referring to
Yeah.
they're reasonable and they're not just doing what you've always done. Same with the expense budget. It should be more of a function of your actual planned spending and not just what you've always done. So
I don't want to kick this horse right now. We'll go on.
Mhm.
I provided Lori with a copy, I believe, is what I was referring to. If not, I'll double check it. But we do need to do that. Make sure we got this all right before we go out and do bonding. Email asking for permitting inquiry requirements. We had a request that came through. I guess somebody was asking about, do they have to file permits to do certain jobs in towns? I saw no reason why we don't move forward with that. But that would need to be an ordinance to be created, along with a fee, a structure fee. But that might help us out for the companies coming into town and striking our water lines, which happened again yesterday. So the question came up, is there a permit required for underground work? Is permit required for pole replacements? Is permit required for installing new poles? Is a permit required for over? So this is coming out of Duke. So Duke's probably paying for permits and doing that in some towns. I don't know why we wouldn't be requiring it. We need to know who these in my opinion, we need to know who these, contractors are that are coming to town and what they're doing and that they're doing it correctly.
Okay.
Yeah. Cause we keep having streets dug up, which they still haven't fixed.
You don't have
Water lines getting hit.
you don't have a street cut permit,
Um,
anything like that.
not, there is a mention to one of them that Mr. Ritter did, but Brian wants to see one that is more in depth. And he's wanted that for a while.
Okay.
So I'd like to see us move forward with creating something there. And that will take us down the next rabbit hole on permitting that Warwick County normally does. And I'm not saying to do this because we don't have the personnel, but we may need to think about taking that over somehow,
It's permitted
all permitting.
a lot.
Yep, all that permitting dollars now, and I've got their fees. And they're quite, they're charging $100 for this and $200 for that and whatever. And that just goes to Warwick County's general fund. If we can't, hopefully we're getting them on the right path and they will start doing work up here. But if they're not going to do work up here, we have to fund the position somehow. That is one of the ways to fund it. So I'm just
Well, yeah, I mean, if you were
sit
gonna take
and
it over,
think that in the back of
if
your
you're gonna
mind.
take it over, you got, the inspections would be the thing. I mean, do you have enough that you could have an inspector on staff, or would you have to hire somebody part-time or contract with somebody? Because, that's when I talked to Homeland Security about all that. I talked to Adam, and he was telling me about, the only Chandler, Newburgh, and I guess Boonville. He didn't mention Boonville, but I presume Boonville has its own permitting. And, you have to have an inspector. The rest of the county is supposedly the building commissioner, but they have not been. So that's supposed to change. I just don't know how fast it's gonna change. Adam told me. They had a meeting. The county now knows what its obligation is. Newer building commissioner, not Dennis, Jeff, is on board, but it's gonna take some time to ramp up. But maybe we can get them to focus on a couple of things here as they get started. So,
Well, I think, part of David's concern and mine too, is that a lot of things just aren't getting permitted at all.
Yep.
And, the county's losing dollars as well. Because, they're not following up either.
And then if we have a problem with that property later, they come back to us and say, well, you didn't make them get a permit.
it's not,
So we can't win.
right.
Okay, well, we know that's an issue.
He told me you all would be, he thinks you'll be happy with where it goes. It may take a little time, and then I may also send a couple of complaints of things we talked about. So that's on their radar that we'll get started, but he seemed like it was moving in the right direction.
And I'm glad to hear that.
See.
Okay, next item. I've had a request for clerk hours on the door, which we got our hours, but I believe they were more specifically towards clerk treasurer's office. So I came back and put that on. So that's 2 items in a row. Do you have regular hours that you are here?
Yeah.
How does the public get in touch with you?
Specifically.
Okay, we need to print something up on the door then, I would think, saying, here's how to contact you to make an appointment, unless it's there.
It's there. And I'm pretty sure I have that on.
But I'll have you double check it.
Yeah.
If it's not there, then a separate line, and maybe on a separate piece of paper, so they're not, I want different pieces of paper all out there, but I know. But I still want them, if they're looking for the clerk treasurer, I want them to find it pretty easy instead of reading the whole other thing. Or put in a different color.
Something that's not just,
Something different color. It says clerk treasurer in red.
Yeah.
Not,
I was trying to remember what is up there, but I can also have it on top too, so it's
Okay, so you have no standard set hours.
And I think most people walk through that door with a question in regards to the town, and they're going to address the person that's behind that counter, which is not Lord. It's the utility clerk. And they're not gonna know any different.
I know.
And I mean, I don't want to set hours to get that presence, but I am here every day because I can't. I've already tried to work at home and I get distracted and end up doing laundry and things. So I do come up here regularly, but
Yeah. Again, I've had someone ask me about trying to get you, and they said they can't find you here, and I'm sitting there. She's there almost every time I walk in. So you know how complaints are. People sometimes make them up. But if we have something addressed on the door, that'll solve it, and then I can refer them back to that, saying, it's posted on the door. Just email her and make an appointment. And they can carbon copy me if they want. I don't care. I just want to have the process. And then we just have to tell Megan if she gets a question about that. Maybe we have a slip of paper up there. She just hands them. It has her email address and things on it that they can contact her. Or a card.
yeah, actually, she has a bunch of my cards that she.
There you go. And then we'll tell her to not take questions any longer, or try not to. We want her to try to be as nice as she can, though. Okay. Weight limit ordinance. I'm back to that for the streets. I'm still worried about the sawmill trucks coming down 4th Street now. If we go forward with that, I'm worried about all the trash trucks in town. I have contacted Princeton and asked them to see if they will provide me with a copy of their bid specs for when they went out. And okay, if you got that, we can draft something off of those. Because I wouldn't.
If we get Princeton's, that would be good too. I think they're renewable, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, never
That's who we bargained it up as renewable too.
Hmm.
We switched this last time.
So,
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Princeton's just to see another set.
well, I'm trying to get them, and they said that they would provide, so we'll see. But, we need to limit the size of vehicles in town.
and the number.
That would do it, because it would be one company.
Is that for trash trucks or for the
That's
weight? Which
both.
both?
Oh,
It's going to encompass both. Because we got a big wrecker truck that's in town, and they park, and that vehicle's probably tearing things up too.
I think you're gonna have to figure out, you have a weight limit ordinance, you're gonna have to make some accommodation for local traffic, deliveries, things like that, that are gonna be, there's certain things there's certain exceptions in the statute that you have to, there'll be some exceptions to the weight limit, but overall, you can limit. But I can show, I've got
Put that on
multiple
your
examples, so I can put something together and
list of things.
just, it's all my.
The trash
Show me
trucks
my
run
list.
for one service. Also, if you wanna franchise tech, if you have only, if you have only one service, there's you could possibly get franchise tech. I mean, it's not much, but
I'll look at that.
I get the form every year and then I have to fill it out.
Yeah, if we do it, yeah. But if we do it, if we do a, if you do a trash program and then you get it going, then yeah, you have one company that comes in and makes the rounds and picks up the trash, whereas now you have three or four or five or however many.
Two or three on the same day.
Running around on your roads, at the same time, you have all your trash cans out different days of the week. And so, if you have a program, if you have enough customers to attract a good rate, then because if that company's going to come up and have all of those, they'll give you a better rate than the one that's just coming up on individual contract.
Well, what we'll have to fight is that we'd probably have to make it mandatory It will go on to the utility bill or whatever.
You need to make, if you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
You don't wanna do what the county did. And have it be mandatory, then not mandatory, and I mean, it's not gonna do what you wanna do unless you have a program. Where the town's providing the service, there's a cost there, I mean, it goes on the bill, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, but we can write it up, you can do the bids, and then you get a bunch, if it's not gonna work out, you don't do it, but you can.
Does that, it, implementing a program like that, and then you have someone that's already under contract with an existing service, like,
could-
Advance or Waste Management, whatever they are now, does an auto renewal like every 5 years, and it can be very difficult to get out of that auto renewal without being financially penalized. And I believe it's 6 months worth of billing to cancel early. So in a situation like that, I mean, are those individuals going to be able to get out of their contracts?
I don't know about
Without
those individual
penalty, if-
situations. I mean, we ought to look at what those situations are and then have the thing go into effect. Like, I think we did, when we were 3 months out or something, but I don't know about 6 months I mean, I think on mine, I can cancel anytime if I wanted to, but.
You can, you just have to pay penalties with waste management, but we could also put a clause in there that if they want to bid it, they will let everybody out of the contract as of the day.
If
And just take them out of it. Now, they can choose not to bid it, but they're not gonna do that either.
so, yeah, we maybe, I think we can figure that out. That's a detail that I think we can work through.
I agree. Okay. Chris, you have anything? You have anything?
No, I just,
You
I
wanna
know
talk
we
about
talked
tonight?
about it. I'm taking
Okay.
copies of leases to look at, and I'll let you know what that. We'll quickly on that.
And Lori? Nothing other than what you got there?
No, I just provided the,
Okay.
agenda that you wanted for my,
Okay.
the State Board of Council.
Doris, can you keep it short? Thank you. Rachel?
Okay, we need to revisit this down tree on Old Dam Road.
Yeah.
I know, I've only been able to get one estimate. It is $6,000.
Is that with the crane? Is that the one pulling out of the lake?
Somebody just sent over a place, just emailed us a place to get an estimate, like within the last day or two.
Now, Brian was supposed to contact another, company at the last meeting, but I've not heard anything.
Yeah.
I attempted to get one other contractor to bid it as well, and I have not. The only one we have is for $6,000. And I mean, it's blocking. I realize this boat doesn't look too operational, but it's still their boat, it's still their dock, and this tree needs to come out.
This the group that starts with a W. Whitledge.
That what?
So Whitledge.
Mhm.
It's gonna have to be done. It's been dragging out.
Mhm. Can
Do
we?
do you have any time to get another quote if she's got something there? Or you
Yeah,
try
I mean, I
to track it down?
I can.
I just want them all to be told the same thing.
At the
Because
end,
I'm willing to make a motion to move up to
that's what I'm thinking.
$6,000
Yeah,
for whatever contractor we can locate
yeah.
to
that's what I-
remove the tree. And within the next 10 days
Right.
or something. That way we know we've got a vendor, but if she can find somebody cheaper, then we can do that. Now, that other offer that we had, there's no way of getting them to legally be able to do anything.
They
Right.
opted not to.
Okay.
I did ask. They opted not to bid it.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Okay, I will make a motion to get the tree removed from the old dam property that's in the lake for up to $6,000. if it can be accomplished within the next 14 days.
I'll second that motion.
Any legal questioning on that? Is that okay? Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes, so we can get that done.
The other thing, the new Tecumseh Trail sign has been, installed at Peach and 68. And while I was looking at it, I did notice the down power line.
Mhm.
I don't know if, I haven't heard from Brian. Is someone going to follow up on that? I sent it out yesterday. Did you get it, David?
No, so I'm looking. Was that the one that said something about the school corp was gonna take
Okay,
out a building?
Well, and then that was the next thing. There's the school corporation owns the concrete block building there that is not in usage anymore. It's not connected to the electric.
What was it?
It had to do with, for the water
Oh, I remember
going
this
out
something.
to the school originally, and Brian and I talked about it. He said it's not been in usage for quite some time. It's been disconnected, and so I asked for Brian at the school corp to take a look at it, and he said give him 3 weeks and they'll have it removed.
So the line's not going to that building.
Nope. It's
I
I
think
sent
that's
you
what I
a
was
picture
thinking.
of the pole it's coming off of. And then, I mean, we'll need to do a little cleanup there because the line's down because of one of our trees took it down.
But obviously it's not,
It's not touching the ground yet, but
but the line, is the line broke?
nope.
So the line's still in service.
hmm
So that would be a Duke issue, would it not?
I would think so, but someone needs to contact them. That was the reason I sent the pictures. So,
Okay, who would normally contact Duke? Is that something that you normally would do? No. Yeah. Lori,
I'll have to go by and see
will
what
you
the
pretty,
whole-
will you pretty please
I will
contact Duke and
show-
follow up with them and tell them they got a line that may be down?
I'll show you the pictures. I'll send them to you. Okay.
Anything else?
The only other thing that I wanted to put on Chris's radar is, an ordinance for rental properties in the town. Since we are getting quite a few of them, be nice to have an ordinance regulating them as far as they, saying who's living in their property, assessing a yearly fee.
I think I copied you
Yeah,
the
This
Evansville
one.
that you forwarded to me.
yeah.
I think I copied that to you, Chris, so you should have it.
Code you sent me, property maintenance.
It was,
Yeah, probably.
yeah, it was the Evansville.
So we just want to kind of structure off of that,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's a great thing.
It's the park web domain. Do we know what we're gonna do about that?
We're working on it.
Okay,
We talked about it, we talked to Ray about it
okay.
today, and I'm gonna,
When I talked to Wes about it, he said even doing the switch would take about 2 weeks. It's not a quick process.
yeah,
And so he didn't want to drag it out because our online reservations are being affected by this.
yeah. Ray, I mean,
Yeah.
there's some concerns about this transferring the whole domain to you. We just need to work through it. I'm not sure of the answer yet.
And I asked Wes if we did, if he managed the domain, then that he assumes the responsibility to support it and protect it. And he said, yes, he does. That's part of,
I understand that. I mean, one of the concerns is, there's some technical concerns, so we talked about getting a conference call with Wes, trying to work through them. I mean, there's one of the, is, right now, I guess, Ray and his group manages all of the security.
Mhm.
So, malware, all those kinds of things that can come on your laptops, these are your equipment would then
Right.
be at risk unless Wes is doing it right. And we need to work those details out. We can't just turn it over to him and hope for the best.
And that was the reason I asked Wes that,
So,
that if it was his responsibility, and he said yes.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, well, I don't know what that entails yet. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I would rather find a different way, but we'll see. We can do.
That why we're getting so many calls about the reservation being down?
Yeah,
Oh,
because they can't transfer over to the new system because he doesn't have the domain.
okay. Yeah, we're getting calls like crazy here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what about, we talked about maybe him creating a new domain, Lynnville book, park book.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
So,
We'll.
Yeah. Okay,
You know, that just came
Yeah.
back 4 o'clock today, so.
okay. And, that's all I have.
Aaron, do you have anything for us? No? In that vein, I will take a motion for closure of the meeting if you would like.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. 7:06. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all.